Welcome back to another episode of Let 'Em Ride. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the two games on the WNBA slate for June 18th. Go over my analysis for each of these games, talk about my leans as far as points and spread, and any plays that I put in for these games will be listed down below in the pinned comment later on, so don't forget to check back in to see if you would like to ride along or if you're going to fade me. And I cannot recap yesterday's picks. Unfortunately, the game is still in play at the time of recording. The Minnesota Lynx and the Dallas Wings. I took them at -9. That line was jumping all over the place. I put it in the pinned comment. It had gotten up to 14.5. I hope that everybody treaded lightly on that one. The Lynx are currently up by 4. We know that the Wings, they stick with teams in these first half, typically on the road. They kind of keep it close, and then they tend to fall apart in the second half. And on top of that, the Minnesota Lynx defense really tends to pick up in the second half as well. So that 4-point lead has me feeling okay about hitting this 9-point spread. We're just gonna have to see what happens, and I'll recap that in the next video along with this recap as well. All right, and in our first game, we have the Los Angeles Sparks taking on the Connecticut Sun. Sun are laying 12.5 in this one, and the over/under is sitting at 155.5. The Sun come into this one, they got the one-day rest advantage. They're at home. They're 12-1 straight up. They're 7-6 against the spread. However, they are 5-1 to the number over their last 6 games. The Sparks are 4-10. They're 5-8-1 against the spread. They come into this one on a 3-game losing streak. They've lost 6 of their last 8 straight up. The Sparks are on the 4th game of a 7-game road trip. Last saw them in Atlanta on Sunday. They lost that one 87-74 while shooting only 35% from the field and 32% from deep. The Sparks are shooting at a league worst 39% over their last 3 games and this road trip so far. And they also hold a worst in the W net rating of -14 on this road trip. The Sun over their last 3 in that same span, they hold a net rating of 17, which is first in the W. And that's an absurd 31-point differential between these two teams right here. So I'll take Connecticut in this one. The 12.5 is a lot to lay, but the Sun team has won their last 5 by an average of just under 16 points. They have won the last 10 over LA straight up. They're 9-1 to the number in those games. This is the best defense in the league going up against a struggling offense, so I'm going to side with the best defense. For the total, I'm going to lean under in this one. The Sparks and the Sun, they both like to play the game the same way. The Sun just play remarkably better. They have been able to slow teams down, they limit fast break opportunities, and they force teams to play against their elite half-court defense. And on the Sparks side, the Derek Hamby, she's began to cool down after starting the season red hot, dropping from 20 points per game on 54% shooting through the first 8 games of the season to 16 points on 47% shooting since. The Sun defense is also first in defensive rating. They're first in opponent points off turnovers and fast breaks, and they give up the least amount of threes per game as well. So I just think LA struggles to score in this one. All right, for our other game of the evening, we have the New York Liberty traveling to Phoenix to take on the Mercury. Liberty are 6-point favorites in this one. Total is sitting at 168. New York comes into this one. They're 12-2 straight up. They're only 6-8 to the number, but they've won 8 straight now and covered in 5 of their last 6. New York is scoring at a league best 88 points per game over the course of this win streak as well. They're shooting 46% from the field, 35% from deep. That's good for first and second in the league over this span of time, over this win streak. The Mercury, they are 7-7 straight up, 9-5 to the number. And since the return of Brittany Griner, though, Phoenix is 3-1 straight up and 4-0 against the spread. They've had impressive wins as well over Minnesota and the Storm their last time out. So both these teams, they're coming into this one with a little bit of momentum, right? And while New York has been the better team thus far this year, this Phoenix offense, they're humming. They're causing a lot of problems for oppositions. They're looking unguardable kind of at times, right? Brittany Griner, she's come back and she's been dominant in her return. She's putting up 25 and 9. And defenses, they can't commit to doubling her because of the shooting that Phoenix now possesses. Phoenix, they retooled this offense in the offseason, and it showed flashes early this year. They just weren't able to put it together with consistent results until the return of Griner. So I like Phoenix to cover in this one. And with all that said about the scoring from Phoenix and the dominance of this offense as of late, I'm leaning over as well. New York is no slouch, obviously, though. I just talked a lot about Phoenix there. This Liberty team, as we said, is tops in the W over their win streak in almost all things offense. So I see this being a shootout between 2 of the top 3-point shooting teams, 2 of, if not possibly, the 2 top offenses in the league, and 2 teams that over the course of the last 4 games, and even with the return of Griner, they're playing at the 4th and 5th fastest pace in the league. Fastest. So yeah, give me the over in this one. I see a lot of points being scored. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Let 'Em Ride. Be sure to check back in later to the pinned comment for any plays that I'm rolling with on these games here, so you can choose if you'd like to ride along or fade me. And if you guys enjoyed the content today, you found it useful or helpful in any kind of way, please hit that like button. I greatly appreciate it. Please share if you can. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Guys, I'll see you on the next one.